Hello, Dr. Tanya. This is Alka from Global Women Power, and we are delighted to have you with us today. Let me briefly introduce what Meet Our Sheroes is all about. Global Women Power is a non-profit organization based out of Fremont, California. We have been working for the empowerment as far as financial and social independence is concerned. So in that regard only, we meet with different women, those who have made their mark in their own field, in spite of all their struggles or, oppositions or competence. So we have met many women of eminence, and I'm glad to inform you that we chose you as one of them. So the way we work on this interview is that we ask you to introduce yourself to our audience. What are you doing presently? And how did this journey start? And where are you going from here onwards? Over to you.
Thank you for a lovely start. Honestly, when Nancy reached out to me, I was a bit skeptical because it's very seldom you actually meet authentic people on the internet. and Nancy was so authentic, and I was like, I have to understand what this is about. So I am actually extremely grateful to you and Nancy for including me in this project and making sure I'm part of one of 100 women, maybe, who have contributed and maybe helped and inspired many other young girls.
Definitely.
And continue to do so.
Not only them, but me and Nancy also. We get inspired in
Oh,
all the interviews.
that's so sweet. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
So a little bit about me. I currently last week turned 27 on the 14th. This week turned 27 on the 14th of Jan. And I reflected a little bit on my journey. So I'm a homeopathy doctor, and currently I'm leading India's largest homeopathy pharmaceutical. I started my work around COVID because we lost our uncle who used to lead the business with my father. And that's the first time I saw my father crumble down and cry. And I knew that, and I was in my last year of college. So I was in my internship years, medical internship, and I had to grow up, you know.
Yes.
And yeah. And last year of medical internship, when everybody was putting in files, I was going back home reading data on how to build businesses, what a balance sheet looks like, what is a break even, what is a break even of a company. In COVID, when people were getting jobless, I learned from my father a lot of things about humility and not letting go of people, where we were talking about how we can manage and keep the company alive in the circumstances that we were in. Because we came in essential goods as medicines, but we wanted to understand what more we could do. And I think the journey started a lot more than not knowing anything. Imagine a medical student learning about biology, organs, anatomy, jumping straight into financial sheets, balance sheets, break-even costs, accounts, something numbers that we usually medical students stay away from, very confidently. So it was a very, very tumultuous journey. It was not something that came easy to me at all, because it took me a year and a half just to understand what was going on, just to understand who to trust, who not to trust as a woman, even in business. And I'll tell you what was against me. I think the first thing that was against me was my age. I came in at a very, very young, fragile age in the business. And everybody, my uncle was leading a company at 80. So the kind of seniority that he was leading the company with, my dad was leading it at 70 and still is. And I came in as a 23, 24-year-old or even younger. Yeah. And when I came in, my age was against me, because everybody else thought that this was a child. This person was to be treated like a child, So because no matter what businesses you get into, seniority really, really changes everything. So imagine 50-year-old people who were working in the company for my uncle did no longer respect me the same way. And that's very common for us women to face. I initially thought it was very common. When I asked other women, they said, yeah, it's very common. because you might not be respected for being a very young woman, B, being a woman. So let's be honest about that, and let's face it that this happens. So I still remember for the longest time, my senior accounts person used to pick up the intercom and say, "Yes, sir." I said, "No, we're saying yes, ma'am."
Mm.
It took me so much time to change the ideology of a man leading a company to a woman leading a company, that it's taken me a lot of micro changes that have resulted in macro results. Simply the fact that, calling a sir a madam, for first 2 years, this person just called me, "Hello, sir." "Yes, sir." I said, "No, hello, ma'am," or "Hello, Dr. Tanya." Acknowledge the fact that we've got a female leader. And the last thing I think that was against me was that I knew nothing about business. I knew nothing about building a practice, running a pharmaceutical, what medicines were made and how they were made completely, the entire process. I didn't know. So I was lacking knowledge because I didn't have that experience. A lot of these things were against me, but I think what pushed me through is being a complete novice and asking questions again and again and looking dumb again and again and feeling dumb again and again, so I could understand and learn more. Because if I didn't ask questions, these guys, I would never learn. If I didn't make mistakes, I would never learn. So I would ask every single question. Why does this happen this way? Why does this happen this way? Why is this person doing this? And people would feel like, they would actually feel like, yeah, this is a young child. We just got to help this child. So they used to tell me information. This is how you're supposed to do this. This is how you're supposed to do this. And from that, I learned my way upwards just by doing that.
Well,
And
in
I
your
think
case, your youth got to your advantage, became your advantage at that point. Otherwise, they would have never shared with you.
absolutely, because they thought that I was a young, youthful girl, who wanted to learn from them. They thought of it as an easy thing for them to do, also a fulfilling thing for them to do. So they openly shared it with me, and which is why I learned a lot. So I took a lot of control of the company in a span of a year and a half, 2 years, because then I started understanding. I started knowing
How big was the company? How big was the company when you joined?
So when I joined the company, at that point of time, we were clocking in 110 CR per year, right? Now we're a company of, this year we'll be clocking in at 180 CR. So we've
How
jumped
many
in.
people?
Earlier, when I started, we had an office just full of 25 people, 25 to 30 people. Now we have an office full of about 60, 70 people. And our factory staff, including them, because our production increased with the demand increased, we had to increase our staffing to about 30 to 40% in the last 2 years. Yeah. So we've increased our market cap, we've increased our size of the company, we've increased the demand of the company. And I think for me, the biggest testimony was believing in myself. Because, it's easy to come and lead a company, but it's difficult to prove yourself again and again and again and again. So I took it on me as a very difficult, very important task to innovate and get something new. So I got India's first homeopathy hair growth mist, which till today is doing rounds in the market. And we've scaled today with, I think, a hike of 50% since last year. I was just comparing the figures last month. Yeah. So earlier we used to sell about 3,000 bottles last year, and this year online. And now we're selling about 30,000 per month online. So
Hair growth mist.
yeah. So I made India's first homeopathy hair growth mist. But I'll tell you the story of it. As a doctor, I had it in me that I wanted to do something big because I did not have great hair in the front. I have a long forehead, right? And my mom had great hair. My sister had great hair. I did not have great hair. And I said, I want to have better hair. So I made the product in my kitchen. In my kitchen, I started mixing herbs, and I showed it to my dad, and my dad said that that's not possible. that cannot work. This is a complete failure. You will not be able to do it. And I was like, if I'm getting this level of criticism in my own house, the level of criticism you will get outside, if does not work, Tanya, then you've had it. And that steered me into building a lot more. And as a doctor, then I used to give these free samples, these homeopathy hair growth mist, which is the hair reviver, to everybody for free. And I used to do free consultations for them. Absolutely free consultations, just to talk to them and understand what happened after the product. That's how I build my mastery in hair fall and hair growth. And I realized what mattered, what did not matter when it came to hair fall, hair growth, and all about hair science and what happens in human bodies when hair falls, or what needs are there when we have to grow hair, male pattern baldness, female pattern baldness. So
Send
now
it to America.
we did. In fact, a lot of my cousins, they order stuff from India to America a lot more now. Yeah. So that happened. And I got some great results, extremely good results for me to tell my dad, whoop, look at that, before, after. You can't say no to results. You can say no to your daughter. Yeah. And he couldn't say no to the results. And then it became a wow boom in the market. Everybody loved it. And it was just herbs and nothing else. Just a few herbs that we mixed in the kitchen and suddenly became very big, that we use now in homeopathy.
If you have black hair dye, I'm your first customer. I'm allergic to all these hair dyes that don't have any ammonia in it or paraben, and I still react.
Wow, you do?
Yeah. So I'll be your first customer if you have black hair dye.
Black safe hair dye, PPD free, ammonia free, silicone free. But I genuinely feel, Nancy, I mean, I've recommended a lot of people here. I know Alka might even know about it, but a lot of people in India use mehendi as the best hair color and make it a little bit black. And mehendi is the most natural thing you can do for your hair. And mix it with a little bit of black tea that gives you that black effect and automatically turns a bit black. So that.
Thank you.
Yeah, if you can, that
frizzy
is
hair. Frizzy hair.
So
Yeah.
I am familiar with one homeopathic brand, which is Boiron. Boiron.
Yeah, Boiron. Yeah, they're very, very well in the US market. US, Mexico, South America, very well in that market. So interestingly, of course, this is being recorded, but we were in talks with Boiron to bring them, to bring a few things here and to establish something here. But what we realized was that our Indian company was so concrete and so big itself that we couldn't spread our hands too much to dive into others. And that also was the biggest testimony for us to realize that even international brands who wanted to work with us and we wanted to work with them, we couldn't, because we were already so big that it was tough for us to enrope new brands and bring them in and do a collaboration.
You're already competition.
Or not just competition, because we were trying to make something very interesting with them. We're trying to bring the foreign culture of the foreign medicines here in India, set up a separate unit with them. But then we realized that the amount of energy that we would spend on bringing our own products here in India and vis-a-vis doing a collaboration with them would be a lot. So we had to choose. We had to choose between our cards and their cards. And we're still very well in touch with them. We honestly salute them for the kind of efficacy and the kind of products that they've brought around the world. So Boiron has done very well for itself, especially in the market of the United States. Amazing.
So do you have any role model as far as the pharmaceuticals are concerned?
Honestly, my role model, I never had a female person to look up to. So I didn't have a role model. I didn't have anybody to model. I made so many mistakes. I made mistakes like losing my temper very fast, like getting irritated and acting emotionally, not just as a female, as a human, you know. But I think all throughout this, I didn't envision into one role model because there was no female to look up to then, you know. So I had to be my own role model. And as much as I think growing up, I had lots of role models. I went to Oxford Summer School, and my biggest role model then was Mahatma Gandhi and what he stood for. And I studied leadership and what he stood for, what was his leadership like. But then, you know, as we grew older, Our priorities changed. The people we look at change. There were not a lot of women in medicine and still aren't. I have three females still working in the company. You know what my biggest problem in the company was? Retaining women. Because in the company, if you know about Indian companies, at least some of them, when women get married, they tend to leave their jobs. And when women get pregnant, they tend to leave their jobs. So that's still one of my biggest motivation factors, to bring more women in and make it comfortable for them. But when I see certain nuances and circumstances where women have to leave because they're getting pregnant and they want to get married and they want to move to another city or want to move to supposedly 2 hours away from their home, it's tough. I'll tell you an example. A very, very, very dear employee, she came up to me, and such a lovely colleague she was. She said to me, I want to get pregnant. What would you advise me to do? And I said, as a doctor, my first advice for you to be to go back home, relax your nervous system, and not take the stress of having to come to a job every day. Focus on your health, eat better, sleep better, exercise. That's what is needed. But as your employer, I know how much financial independence matters in a world like today. So I would also want you to, if you can, think of employment anywhere, if not here. Anyhow, anywhere, source of income should be there. And that's what I told her. And that was the biggest turning point in my life, because I realized that women in our country, India, most women have to choose. You won't believe me, Nancy and Miss Alka. Last year at Diwali time, we have people coming and visiting our homes. Diwali is a very festive occasion for us. People come, give sweets. I had a doctor who was quite senior to me, like 20, 25 years senior to me. She came up to me and she said, what will happen to the business when you get married? What will happen to the work and the clinic when you get married? I said, we're not living 20, 25 years back. What will happen is things will grow. I will still work. I will still excel. And this is last year, Diwali. We're talking about 2024. This woman comes up to me and says something like that. And I'm just shocked that the women still think that why is it that senior women still put young women like me and all my colleagues in a cage where we cannot have it all? These are some instances that happen. And I certainly do believe in the fact that if you want to make anything happen, you can. It takes balance, it takes energy. Women are very good at it. There are thousands of women across the globe raising kids, raising husbands as well, I'd say, and looking after every single thing. And you just need a system. And my only problem with that is, let people change their mindsets. If anybody is listening to this, don't ask your daughter to quit her job just because of she's getting married or she's moving to another city. Make her chase her employment. That's her source of up-leveling in her own life.
Of course.
So that was my biggest thing. I think that was my biggest, and still is, my motivation factor. What I want to see in the next 5 to 7 years in the company is where we have crutches for kids upstairs. So in our office, if we can have an area or any designated area where we can have crutches for kids, for young kids to come in, nannies, then I know these women can feel safe coming to work and working. Because on the contrary, I've also seen the work from home culture where women are doing 40 things at one point of time and they're saturated. Women don't need to be left alone and do your thing. They need help to build support systems that can enable them. That is one thing that I hope to build in the next 5-7 years for all the women in the company, so that we have more retainership of women in the company and more women coming in for not just content creation or social media, but also for logistical work, to grow, to up level, and not leave jobs when they get married. Even now, when I take interviews, I say, so what are your goals in life? What are your goals in your personal life? And these women say, oh, I'm not getting married for the next 5-7 years. Let's shift that ideology. Even if I get married, I will always continue to thrive and do my best with my work. Why not that ideology? Why are we
Mm.
so scared that, oh my God, we won't get married, hire us? No, that's wrong.
Mm.
That's wrong. Why can't we say we're here to have it all and we will have it all? It takes a support system. It does not take a lot.
Mm.
And I think that's something that really stays with me as a human being. My ideas, ideologies, yeah.
So you have done BHMS?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And now you do also research and make formulations, or
Yeah,
what
I
is your
do.
role now? You do that.
Everything, Miss Alka, from marketing to so because now I'm leading the company as a director, I have my
Mm.
foot into everything. So yesterday I had a meeting about social media. The other day I had a meeting about marketing strategies for 2025. On 25th of January, we're having a full roundup of what we need to do in 2025 to 2026 financial year, in April from March 31st. So a full roundup of every single thing. And that's the key about doing everything and learning everything in my early years, where I had to ask questions and do it all. And now I hopefully learn it all and I'm still doing it all. And every day I'm learning, every single day, every
So as
single.
far as far as formulations are concerned, are you looking for some breakthroughs, or you're just making what all others are making?
The hair revive was never something that everybody else was making. And that was my biggest breakthrough till now. We launched it in 2022 and it's been a wow for us. It's been the biggest selling item now in our top 10 list and very, very favored by doctors pan India. So that's something that we love, that the doctor accreditation is there. Like people actually love it. Doctors actually use it. That was our biggest asset and still is. When it comes to breakthroughs now, I think I would definitely want something safer for kids. There is something amazing I'm getting. I can't leak much about it, but I found in my clinical practice that children nowadays rely on supplements a lot. So they're like, let's have supplements. Parents are like, let's have supplements because there's not enough nutrition in our food, in our soils, in our diet. So I'm trying to bring the most natural thing that there can be for children whilst incorporating homeopathy and a few of our minerals that we can to bring this product out. It's never existed before. It's something that children can use for their daily nutrition and hopefully replace the need of supplements because this will aid calcium, iron naturally in them. And I don't want to give them gummies, right? I don't want to give them sweet for that.
And how about a thyroid substitute?
I'm already treating thyroid. Thyroid is a lifestyle disorder. So I'm already treating a lot of patients with thyroid where they go from 88 mcg to 50 mcg, then they move on a little bit more. So yeah, thyroid can definitely be managed, but it's like a 6-month process where we slowly wean them off of their thyronorms and get them into homeopathy. It's a long process. I have a full manual on my phone on what management or lifestyle changes also need to be done. It's a full process. But yes, for people who have not gone on the Theranorm pill, I have been able to reverse and manage their thyroid, even diabetes in some cases. But for people who have had it for 20 long years, it's a much difficult battle for me to handle with their bodies and for their bodies to wean off of that. So it takes about 2 years easy.
Even if it's 0.5 micrograms of thyroid
That's easy.
levothyroxine,
That's easy.
that can be done?
That's easy, yeah.
Okay, I'm your client.
And also, Nancy and Miss Alka, another thing is you might want to check your vitamin D levels. So thyroid and vitamin D are naturally connected. So think about that. And most people don't even know about that because they're like, oh, just D's less. I'm just having pains in the body. I'm just having hair fall. No. Thyroid hormones are also related to vitamin D deficiencies.
Vitamin D?
Yeah. I'll share a full manual with you on what lifestyle changes you guys can incorporate. I think it'll be great.
So now you are professionally acting as a doctor, or you're just in the business?
Full on doctor as well. I can't leave my practice. It's my source of learning, source of growing every day. Even yesterday, I saw about 16 patients online, and patients lined up today as well. I still have calls from my patients early in the morning. So yeah, that's life.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
So
I
I
take the
divide my time.
Neutralite vitamin D.
Pardon?
Neutralite vitamin D.
Any vitamin D
Yeah.
that is 60,000 IU, 60,000, it might be 60K. Just get that one and have it once a week.
And sunlight itself is not enough.
I wish it was. Currently, I'm in a location which is full of sunlight, but it's really, really problematic now because we don't go in the sun as much. Second, we are used to applying sunscreens and foundations and concealers. And now when we've got used to that, we're already blocking the sun rays from entering our skin. You know, true vitamin D absorption can be done used to be done in earlier times, you know, when our parents used to let us roam around, you know, in the sun and oil our bodies, or just let our bodies be, have a bath, you know, and then just go out in the sun. That time was great for absorption. Great. Now, not so much.
Morning
And this
sun.
is, morning sun. It's amazing.
Understood. Have you written some books or?
I have. I authored Be Unique, which was with Dr. Andy Cope and Mr. Sanjeevan Sandhu. And it was my first book that I authored with them for children, because I used to work in positive mental health in India a lot. So I was a teen entrepreneur at 19 when I started a positive mental health nonprofit organization and worked with children on positive mental health scenarios like result optimization, gratitude, goal setting, how to plan a month ahead, how to build your wellness cycle or routine, you know, and just small tactics and things that can help you feel better about your mental health. So it used to work on the positive side of the mental health. So a lot of just feeling good, feeling better, elevating, you know, on the green side. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I authored a book with Dr. Andy Cope, who's basically a legend for positive mental health across the globe, and Mr. Sandhu, who ended up being also one of the very, very, very important figures in my life. Yeah.
And future is about your journey as a doctor or as a business woman?
I can have it all. I want to have it all. I will have it all. I'm looking at myself raising kids, helping them grow, watching health discovery shows with them, and seeing what better I can do with the pharmaceutical, and at the same point of time helping my patients. So I see it all. You know, once you have the vision, you can have it all. You can have it all. And I honestly will also say this, as a woman, I will not belittle men. I will not say it's not possible. If you have the right person who supports you, the right husband, the right partner, it's everything, because the choice of the partner that you make in life will be the trajectory of your entire life. I've been very lucky. My husband, you know what, my husband on my birthday told me this one thing. My friend called me, my current fiance, next year husband. He said to me this thing that really stayed with me. My friend called me, you should come, why be alone on your birthday? No, you should come and be with me and just spend time with me. I'm like, okay. And he came in and he said to me, Tanya, you're a strong, independent woman. You don't need to be with somebody else to be happy. You're strong enough, brave enough, safe enough to go anywhere you want, do whatever you want. Don't fall into these traps of not being with yourself and wanting to be with other people, and then only happiness will come. And that was like, you know, I was like, wow. I said, that's my man. That's why I chose to marry you. So, you know, that's something that really changed my entire life. When just small incidences like this, when people empower you, they support you. So many times in my life. Right now, I'm logging in from his laptop because my laptop conked off. He could have thrown off a fit. It's breakfast time with me. I have to go down. You've told me half an hour. It's taken you 40 minutes. It could have been very, very negative. Could have. But this guy's made sure that he's planned it all out and he's there for me. I think we need a support system like this. Every woman does. And I'm very, very lucky to have that.
So, what is cooking in breakfast today?
Oh, what's cooking in breakfast today? Well, currently there's warm water that I will start my day with. I usually start my day with warm water and lemon, and then I will just plan the breakfast with him. Usually, yeah, that's the idea. But
So, one
but
last question.
mostly, yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
One last question, I see most often that Ayurveda is in trouble with allopathic doctors and like Mr. Doctor now, Ramdev,
Mm,
uh, Supreme Court calling him over
yeah.
for the things he's
Yeah.
manufacturing. So how
Yeah.
about in homeopathic?
See, the problem is not about manufacturing. The problem is about claiming that you can cure everything with what you're manufacturing.
Mhm.
And I think that's what this person you're referring to can also, that is exactly what happened. Of course, this is being recorded, so I would request you to cut out whatever bits are not necessary and to
Right.
maintain solidarity. But yeah, whatever you claim in the alternative medicine industry has to be very sensitive, very, very sensitive.
In the
You
alternative?
cannot, yeah. This is some medicine I manufacture, right? This is a medicine that we make in a company. It's called B1 for the influenza drops. Can I say I cure COVID with this? No, you cannot say that. Even though it's made for flu symptoms that are exactly mimicking COVID, I cannot say that. The claims that we say are extremely cautious and important in our country and beyond. And I think with more policing happening in our country, India, I think it's more important for manufacturers and pharmaceutical industry to be more regulated with the kind of approvals that they're giving to all the alternative medicine practitioners, be it their factory size, be it the hygiene that they practice in the factory, be it the medicines that they use. Every single thing needs to be more policed. So I'm happy it's happening. I'm not afraid at all because I know that this is good. This is good for our industry. It's good for medicine to grow. And when it comes to allopathy, I also run an allopathy hospital. So in COVID, we saw that a lot of people were dying in our country, India, and we did not have amenities. We did not have hospitals for everybody. People were dying on the street for oxygen cylinders. That's when we started the vision behind having a hospital. My own father was admitted in the hospital, and he didn't have a bed. It was very tough for him. Very, very tough. And this is a man who's a doctor himself. So we realized that we wanted to bring up an allopathy hospital. And that has been the biggest learning step of my life because it brought me out of my homeopathy background and made me learn so much. Today, I'm seeing different surgeries happen every day. Every single day. We see new babies being born in the hospital. We see service to the people. And I think that's something that we really, really adore and strive for ahead. So it brings me a lot. I always say this, and I said this in my last interview as well. No science is complete in its old form. Homeopathy also has its merits and demerits. Allopathy also has it. Ayurveda also has it. But together, if we live a life combining all of them, we can probably have a very complete life and form a complete scientific protocol to work and move ahead.
Very good. Very aptly said.
Yeah. Because there's so
Because
many
whatever
demerits.
works.
So many demerits of all sciences. But what we need to do is take the best from all sciences and make it work for us.
Right. Thank you very much for your time and insights. And I think we didn't have to ask you many questions because you already gave all the answers without me asking any questions. So that's how an intelligent mind speaks. Thank you for being there and holding the torch. And then this is pretty inspiring that a person says, I want to have it all.
If we
So
dream
this
it,
should be.
we can do it. We just need to dream it. That's it.
And persevere in it.
Yes.
And for that, you have to sleep too, Nancy. All right, thank you very much. And we
Lovely,
will
guys.
present you the interview, and then we will also promote it on our platform. All right,
Thank you.
thank
If
you.
there's any other way I can help you both, please keep in
We will.
touch.
We will.
We will.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.